Nebraska Congressman, chair of the Republican Mainstream Caucus, Congressman Mike Flood. Good morning, Congressman. Great to have you here in person with us. So I want to talk about the war, and I think too many times we're focused only on the politics of it and not the fact that the president is doing what's right. And I think regardless of the politics, down the road, history is going to say you took out a 47-year enemy of the United States who chanted death to America. So is doing right more than good politics right now?
Well, I can tell you in the heartland, I was at VFW recently, and a guy came up to me, he's a veteran, proud of his service to our country, and he said, "Hey, Mike, it's time to take out the trash." And I looked at him, and we hadn't been talking, and he said, "I'm talking about Iran." And I think a lot of people, especially older Americans, that have been putting up with this junk since 1979, they're sick of it. They've seen what has happened, throughout the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and every president says Iran is a problem. Iran is a threat. Now we have a president that's willing to deal with it, and he's taking bold moves. He's making bold moves that could shape peace in the Middle East for a long time. And his track record is really good.
You brought up how people in the heartland are feeling. Have you heard from constituents in Nebraska about how they're feeling about this conflict? I know it's raising energy prices, it's raising gas prices. Is that something that people in your state are also dealing with?
Well, we know that in 2025, gas prices came down because Donald Trump aggressively addressed that. There's going to be a temporary bump. Obviously, we're seeing it right now, and I will say it's painful. But I do think it is truly temporary, and when we get control of this situation there, that ought to resolve itself. And everybody's screaming and crying, listen, it's a long time to November. This president gets more done in a week than most presidents get done in a month, and or maybe more. And we have to give it a little bit of time, and clearly we've got the Iranians' attention. Now let's close the deal.
On that point, and I've often said, I remember my grandparents talking about food rationing and things that they did for the war effort back in World War II. When gas prices went up under Joe Biden, nobody knew why. They were angry about it because he just doesn't like American gas and oil. I think they understand why we have this little blip right now and the benefit we might be getting at it. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, I mean, it's directly connected to what's happening with Iran. And as soon as Donald Trump gets this handled, it's going to come back down, and we're going to be back on track doing the things we need to do. And hopefully that happens before planting season is too far down the path for us in Nebraska, because you're right, the inputs that we're paying right now, the fuel prices, the fertilizer, all of that is up right now. And with China not making good on its promises to buy our soybeans, it's tough right now in the heartland.
I do want to pivot a little bit here to the First Lady. Earlier in the show, we played a little bit of a soundbite from her from a speech yesterday where she was saying, don't believe everything you read or you hear or you see. I was not connected to Jeffrey Epstein whatsoever. I want to play that for you.
Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized.
I mean, what she's asking for here, she wants to give victims a public hearing. What's your response to that?
We've been for that the entire time. Listen, I'm not on the Oversight Committee or the Judiciary Committee, but I was in the chair presiding over the House when we passed the law, basically, that became the law to release the Epstein files. We get calls on this all the time. I think Americans of both parties, doesn't matter your location in the country, they want to see the files released, they want to see the information out there, and they want to see people held accountable. And that's ultimately up to the Justice Department.
Before we let you go, Congressman, obviously you guys get back to work in Washington on Monday, and the Department of Homeland Security still partially shut down. It'll be, I think, 59 days, nearly 2 months. Doesn't seem like Democrats have any idea of how that they want to do this. I know we're talking about reconciliation, passing what the Senate already did. Ultimately, we just got to get it reopened and not really focus on the process, don't we?
Well, it's sad that we are talking about reconciliation because this sets a terrible precedent. Someday, if the Democrats have the White House, the House, and the Senate, they will be able to pass a budget, federal budget, without any of us. And that is not good policy. But they forced our hand. And they will rue the day that they did that, because they are forcing us to fund essential elements of our government using a budget procedure that is niche back from 1974. That's not good policy, and bad policy is bad politics. And they're going to regret what they're doing here unless they come to their senses.
Do you see any chance that this is going to end anytime soon?
Well, I think if the Senate can get the reconciliation package sent over to the House, we'll pass it. The other issue that's on the horizon is the FISA warrants. That is something that's going to suck up a lot of the next 2 weeks, and hopefully we can get that handled.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Congressman Flood, thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
Information. Truth is freedom. is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.